Hi, welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. If you're here, this is going to be a collective card pull in honor of the full moon in Cancer on January 17th, 2022. I'm doing this card pull the night before, and there's some pretty intense energy happening. So not only is it the build up to the full moon, but we also have the Sun-Pluto conjunction today. So the Sun giving life energy, and Pluto can be, it often gets coined as death and rebirth. This really deep place of taking away what's stagnant in order to refresh life. So this will probably get uploaded tonight, but if you felt some intensity today, there's that. There's a lot going on. There's a Mercury retrograde we just went into on the 14th. We are currently have been in a Venus retrograde since the 19th, so those are two personal planets. One on how we logically think and communicate and make sense of our reality, and the other what we love and value. To put it in the simplest terms, it can also be worth and a bunch of other stuff. But anyways, this isn't an astrology reading, but I'm just letting you know there is like a ton going on right now, and I'm really excited to do this card pull for the full moon, that I have an opportunity to do it. So I already said my little prayer that this be in the highest good of all that tune in, and let me be a channel for the message we need to hear right now. It was longer than that, but that's the essence. I just want you to know that has been stated. And so I'm going to start. I sat down and took a bunch of deep breaths and then pulled from, which deck is it? The Luminary, the one that's gold and kind of hard to record. And I have not pulled this card yet, so it's the Threads of Fate Lumina Edition Oracle. And so really intense card right off the bat. Here we go. Like, this is why I brought up the Pluto Sun. Because, okay, so you have these intense eyes looking through leaves, like, which can be fresh growth. And you probably can't see it on the camera. Maybe you can. But it's the card of destruction. So right away I was like, all right, run with it. This is what's showing up. Sometimes there's this tendency to shy away from like the death card, or, you know, like oracle cards are normally a little like softer around the edges. So to pull destruction, it was a little like, whoa. But then when I looked at the book, you know, it's just saying like, you need to make a choice. And it's just asking like, what in you wants to die? And I love that question. And I love that question with Pluto and Capricorn as well. Because it's tearing down structures that are no longer working within and without. I don't know if you can hear Bernice snoring, but I thought, oh my God, no, there's no noise. This is going to be great. And anyways, whatever. Just run with it. Dogadoo. So the book says, what needs to die today? Maybe it's a limiting belief, an old inherited pattern, or a toxic relationship. Whatever it is, it's time to let it go. And then it's just saying, like, you know, once we identify it, sometimes it just goes, other times it's this, like, really long process of loosening the grip of our attachment, and just this reminder to be kind to yourself in this process. We establish attachments to things that do not serve us, but knowing something doesn't serve us doesn't mean it's easy to let it go, especially if it's become a part of our identity. And this process requires patience, practice, and self-compassion. And that actually couldn't be more perfect for a Cancer full moon, because Cancer is this watery element. It can be very emotional, and so this can be like a great moon to just let go and purge, uh, and grieve if that's what's coming up for you. Or even just to have like illumination shed on these things in a greater awareness, you know. Letting go of relationships that aren't good for us it's hard, especially if you have a lot invested, or it just can be hard. And so I love this message of compassion. I also think of Cancerian as very compassionate, the holding the space, the container for what's coming up for us. And this releasing, right? Like full moons are a release. Tears are a release. So I just like thought this card was a little perfect. So if you don't have time to continue on with the reading, and you feel complete and this was all you needed to hear, like go with that. I would say I'll try and keep it short, but that never happens. And I'm just going to do what comes up as it comes up. And then the booklet for this card is talking about how the owl is the spirit animal here, and that the owl can teach us to distinguish between what supports us and what does not. And then it guides us in removing that which we don't need. Owls also eat their prey, swallow it whole. They digest what they can and then vomit up what can't be digested. So it's like take what can nourish you and then purge. It's also saying how that it can turn its head in 135 degrees in each direction, giving them 270 degrees of total vision, which is a testament to their ability in teaching us how to find truth. I also really, really like that. So anyways, that's enough of this card. In some ways, I think that this could, just be the reading and call it. It's really neat with the eyes illuminated. It looks so, like, piercing. And I guess the, seeing through the leaves kind of makes, it's like there's this masked element, but new growth around the vision, which would correlate to what the owl was just saying too. And so, because I'm gonna do the actual tarot reading as live card pulls, but because this card was so intense when I pulled it, I was like, okay, well let's go with the Starseed Oracle card. I'm just trying to breathe and get centered, and I wanted to give you a visual to look at to start. That's how innocent this started, and then it turned into a long tangent. But I also pulled another card I've never pulled before. Can you see that? It's the 7 Star Sisters. Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, and Expression. So how interesting that following the destruction comes this birthing something new, right? So what wants to die and what wants to be reborn. So I literally pulled the death and rebirth for this Cancer full moon. And I think this is a good point. I'm going to refer to the book a little bit with this, but very Pleiadian feeling imagery. It is the Starseed Oracle deck. It's beautiful artwork. Some really amazing people gifted me this deck. But it's here. Let me stay focused. I'll get to what I'm trying to get to in just a second here. So there are new creations that want to be born, beauty that's yearning to be woven. new consciousness that's longing to be breathed into life. If you draw this card, you're being called to surrender to these creations, to usher in a new era of consciousness and do your bit in weaving the web of life. So ponder these questions. And if you want to pause and like grab your journal here, you can too. Or if you just want to contemplate these over the course of the next few days, or if you want to leave them as a comment, I encourage any of that. What wants to be birthed through you? What creations are whispering in your ear that are new? And what beauty are you being called to make? Creativity and intuition come from the same sacred place. They occur when we find ourselves flowing with the rest of life. Earth is renowned as a planet of manifestation and creativity. Bernice is bored with this. Do you already know all this? Anyways, yet so many of us have forgotten how to create. Somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing ourselves as artists, creatives, or poets. Yet to be human is that, and creativity is a part of your true nature. So just this whole idea of surrendering to something that scares and excites you, and to like initiate this process and weave beauty back into your everyday. And it's funny because this book says the world needs those qualities more now than ever before, but this was written obviously before what we've all been going through the past few years, and I would say it applies even more. So I'm just catching my breath before I do an actual card pull, and letting that kind of sink in for you. I'm also just glancing at the cards to see what like visually is popping out. With destruction, there's like this downward energy, and then the other card, there's the upward pointing triangle, and then out in the cosmos. So I think I was talking about that in the January in 2022 video about this like rooting to rise, and this is sort of this letting go of the old to make room for the new. So I'd say that is the main message for this full moon. Let me know if that resonates with you at all. There's also like the seven sisters, they're like twirling in space, but it's like this light, airy, playful dance. So like how can you find more lightheartedness, or what like heavy thing are you dragging around that if you found the courage to let go of, could allow this type of movement. Seven's also a very spiritual number. And there's just this, I love how you can see her like 1 foot rooted in this like invisible plane as she twirls. So, as you ponder the questions of what wants to come through you, like what brings you this lighthearted feeling? And it's not that you can capture it. I mean, sometimes it's, diet, it's just what's going on in our world. It's how we're treating ourselves. It's, you know, sometimes it's just in like the smallest, tiniest moment. But in honor of the Cancer moon, I just encourage you to ask yourself what can you do to nurture this within you, whatever your individual thing is. I hope that makes sense. And I probably should have said this at the beginning, but I want to dedicate this reading specifically to my dear friend Mackenzie. We were talking earlier, and she just really inspired that holding space, feeling seen, total allowance, like, you know, where you're at is okay. Wherever you're at. And so I just wanted to have this reading be in her honor as my friend that really understands the nurturing Cancerian energy and does a beautiful job embodying it, and is just very touching and supportive throughout my process and the time I've known her. So, yeah. There was something else I was going to say, but it slipped my mind, and I've actually just decided I am going to change decks. I was going to do the Aquarian Tarot, but I think I'm going to save that for February when we actually go into Aquarius energy. But I just flipped the deck. I've been shuffling, but I flipped it over, and so that card just looks visually stunning. The Ace of Swords, the 2 roses. So here's to some slice through the BS energy to find our lightheartedness. And I feel like that's also a good omen. Roses are also this high vibrational frequency energy, and the white is pure. So may some of that be with you through this full moon. And if you're watching this, now I'm hesitating if I should just stay with this deck. Okay, I am just going to stay with this deck. No, actually I'm not. Sorry. The other deck is calling me. Sometimes this happens. I try to not control it and just run with it. So anyways, that's a beautiful snapshot right there. And swords are mental, so it's kind of just like while we're in this Mercury retrograde until February 4th, just whatever you can clear away. Like you can even picture taking a rose and like sweeping it over your third eye or the center of your headspace, and just imagine it taking everything that's not yours, that doesn't need to be there, away, and then just send it away and disintegrate it to like move that energy if you're feeling bogged down. That's something another healer I adore does. And you know, I don't say this every time, but take what you like, leave the rest. I'm not claiming to know anything. I just, if it resonates, keep it, and if it doesn't, throw it out. I'm just hoping, you know, I can spark something in the dark. And I do kind of get a little long-winded with these readings, and I you know, I feel like everyone's attention spans are so short. That's why I'm like, well, if you just want the one card, but if you want to stick around for the rest, like, you know. But I know time is precious, so if you're spending your time here, I just want to say thank you. You know, the Ace of Swords can also signify new birth, so that's just great that that's what that says. You know what? I am gonna end it here because I feel like this imagery is beautiful and I don't want this to go on and on and on. I am still gonna do a card pull. I'm just gonna separate the readings. So that way you don't have to like pause or come back. You can just, if you want to listen to this now and split it up, or however it ends up working out for you, we're gonna do it that way. So would love to hear your feedback, would love to hear if it resonates, and I'll leave a link if you want to donate, but no pressure. The like, subscribe, shares, comments, any of that I also appreciate. I don't really like promote myself a whole lot. I'm kind of just hoping the work would promote itself, but I don't think the YouTube algorithm really works that way. So yeah, just appreciate any responsiveness, but more than that, I just hope this is helpful, so in some way, to whoever hears it, even if it's just one person. And on that note, Mackenzie has always followed my card readings and always encouraged this, and like sometimes I'm like, well, even if just she watches this, like, cool, because she tends to like love them. So this is for you, Mackenzie. Happy full moon.